So here we got our video here, and we can, on this app, it lets you kind of slow it down. You can go to half speed. This is a quarter speed, and we can go all the way down to an 8 speed. So you can really see, you know, each kind of frame by frame of her running gait, and then we can pause it, and then we can look at those moments that Jasmine was talking about. And so right here, we can see what this is an important part to look at is how do you hit the ground, right? So Jasmine here, it's a little blurry here, but you can kind of see that her foot is pointed down. That's where those orange markers kind of help. We can see that there's that forward down angle. And that's what we call a forefoot strike pattern, meaning that she's landing with her forefoot first, as opposed to someone who may be a heel striker where they hit with their heel first and then their toes come down to land. Now there's a bit of, I would say, controversy as to, you know, what strike pattern is the best strike pattern. And I think depending on what you read, what research you look at, and what coach you talk to, you will get different answers. And I think from where we look at it is that it really just depends on the person. There's pros and cons to each strike pattern, and you know, a forefoot strike is really good for some people, and then a heel strike is a lot better option for others. So that's kind of where talking to a physical therapist who has experience with running, or a very good running coach who kind of knows your capabilities, knows where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, they can help determine what your strike pattern should be, or what modifications you can make. So that's kind of a big thing that I would first look at. Would you add anything to that as far as strike pattern?
Yeah, and you can tell me if you think differently. I always say that the strike pattern that feels the most comfortable and most natural is definitely the one that you should start with. And that even though it might seem like a small change to switch your strike pattern after doing some reading, it ends up being a lot bigger load on different systems during your running gait. So even going from the heel to the toe, everything up the changes is when as soon as our foot comes in contact with the ground, everything changes. So if that means that we're hitting with our toe versus our heel, might seem like a small change, but you're gonna feel it in different ways all the way up to your head. So don't just make that change because of one thing you've read. Make sure that you have someone look at your running before you make that, because it's a bigger decision than you may realize. It
really is a massive change. So do not change your strike pattern or take it for granted that it's like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, be a forefoot striker all of a sudden when you've been heel striking your whole life. That could, that puts you at a higher risk for some serious injuries. So be very cautious with that. And then, yeah, definitely talk to somebody if you're thinking about transitioning strike patterns, so we can put you on a program to do it safely. Okay, so let's move on.